Bam! Welcome to Jason Waller Unleashed. Real talk, real success. I'm host Jason Waller, former billion-dollar business entrepreneur, elite business coach, two-time top 5 podcast host with the BAM podcast and the True Underdog. You might know me from my TED Talks, best-selling books, or even my brand new reality TV show on Amazon, BAM Fam. Are you hungry for inspiration, wisdom, perhaps a hearty laugh? Get ready for a dynamic, electrifying journey filled with towering business triumphs, intimate family moments, and raw honesty that you won't find anywhere else. Buckle up. This is about to get dope as hell. I'm telling you, I have had all kinds of guests on my previous shows, and we're going to have some bomb guests on this. We're going to be talking about everything from politics to money to business to family to drama to kids to you name it. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be real. It's going to be raw. It's going to be in your face. It is Jason Waller Unleashed. Real talk, real success, coming now. Bam! Welcome here to Jason Waller Unleashed. That's right. This is the hottest, the baddest, the most in your face, bitch slap you, fucking throw you down and call you Sally podcast out there right now. It is Jason Waller Unleashed. We are coming to you on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google, anywhere you get your fucking podcasts. We are there. Instagram, YouTube, we've got it. And I have got some guests here today. We've already had heated conversations with what's going on in the world today. This shit today is serious. We're going to have heated conversations and a debate again. We'll also cut up and be funny because I love both these guys on the show. But I've got Kenny Boom Boom back, Kenny to Boom Boom, and then I have got a dear friend of mine that came all the way from Pakistan, Punjabi, Pakistan, not Poonanny, Pakistan, but Punjabi, Pakistan. My man Haider Janjua, how you doing, baby?
Good, Jason. How you doing?
I'm good. Now listen, we've had some heated conversations. You just got here.
Yes.
And the first fucking question I asked you.
Whose side are you on?
Whose side are you on?
Yes.
Palestine or Israel?
Yep.
What'd you say?
Palestine.
I said, motherfucker, you ain't welcome in my building.
No, you didn't.
I didn't say that. I wanted to say that, but I didn't say that. But I did say, before you walk up here, you better fucking tell me what side you're on. And you told me. I said, you motherfucker. Yep. And then I said, you okay with them killing babies? And what'd you say?
No.
No. And that's wrong. And then you gave me a different perspective. So in today's show, we're going to cut up and we're going to be funny. But I brought me some backup because my history is only half-assed. Okay. And I want to make sure I shoot you right. Yep. Now, here's what I do know. I know I'm passionate about things. I believe in what I believe, and that's it, right? But I can be convinced in different categories and different things. And you've educated me a little bit already today or this morning. However, this is a real conversation with real people. Even though this show can be funny, even though this show can be cutting edge, hilarious, it can be relationship based, it can teach you how to build a business, it can make you laugh, it can do politics, it can do all these things. Today's show is going to have some seriousness to it because this is real life and real things going on. And I want to get your perspective, and I want to have a real debate about it, a real conversation about it. And I kind of brought Kenny in because Kenny's a little bit more wiser than I am, a little bit older, definitely fucking older. And he can bring some education and knowledge that I might not know. And he knows you from a long time, correct, Haider?
Yep.
And we're all friends regardless of what's going on here. So just know that. You know what? I think the problem in today's world, and you said this to me, is the world likes to be divided. And when the world likes to be divided, what happens is it starts to create animosity and ruins relationships and friendships. And you talked about it starts with religion and goes all the way down to now even your favorite football team. I'll be at a football game and people talk shit, and I'm almost getting in a fight at a fucking football game. Correct. Which you're right, we're human beings, we're on the same side. We're not on Zara's side here, my alien. We're not on Zog's side. They're visiting, right? In the Alien Exchange Program. If you guys watch my show, you know what that's about. You can check it out on a previous episode. But the world is dividing a lot. So I want to get into this to talk about that and how we can still stay friends even though we completely have different views. And this will give a perspective of you to share your view that we don't really know here in the U.S. and us to share our view that you really don't know in Pakistan.
Correct.
Because media is full of shit on both sides.
Damn right they are.
Damn right they are. Kenny Boom said it best. Like, I'm one that can tell you media's lied about me online and on fucking TV. Like, media's lied about Trump. Like, there's fake news. And you were talking about Al Jazeera. Is that what it's called out there?
Yep.
And then you got CNN, you got Fox News, all this stuff. And just watching Fox and CNN, it's completely fucking different. So imagine how different it is to see Al Jazeera versus CNN or Fox. Like, it's completely different. And you told me things I didn't know. Don't know if they're true. but I didn't know. And then I told you things you didn't know, and you're like, I don't even know if that's true. So let's start with this. Kenny, where do you stand on all of this?
Well, first of all, I'm not a political person. So I just say that like for the record. Like that's not, I don't make big stances or any of that kind of thing.
You think I do?
Well, you definitely have opinions, bro. Like you definitely got your own opinions, and I think more of what I want to try to accomplish during some of this conversation is to understand. Like, so
my kids want to understand too because they're asking me and I don't have answers. So this is perfect timing.
For someone that actually lives in the area, it's like when you go somewhere new. Right, if you're going on vacation or you're going to go visit a new city or whatever that you've never been, what is one of the first things that you seek out? Local knowledge, right? You want to find out where the real places to go are. What's the real story about what to do here in this area? And I think having somebody like Hader here, right in our own, your studio in our building, it's kind of a blessing to hear about firsthand kind of what is happening because we can see what we see on the news and we're given what we are given to see.
It's true.
on our networks and what they want us to see. And so of course that shadows my opinion towards Israel. Because that's, I feel like maybe what's being fed down my throat. So I think, open minds are always
look, and that's why,
and that's what I'm here to try to accomplish.
And listen, and I agree. And so I was like really hard strung on where I stood.
Yeah.
And then talking to Hader a little bit earlier this morning, I was like, interesting. And it makes me go back to how fake the media is on not the roundtable I did with Trump, but the first time we went to Mar-a-Lago where there was a recording. I filmed it on Facebook Live, so I'm sorry, Mr. Trump. And it went on NBC about President Trump wants to be president for life. And that's not the context he said it, but that's how the media spun it. He said the leader in India wants to be the leader for life. Like, I think I don't know if they have a prime minister there or a president there or whatever, but wants to be, and he's like, that's wrong. Imagine if President Trump, wanted to be president for life. That would be wrong. They took the clip, I want to be president for life. They shared it all over the media. That's what they stuffed down our throat. That hurt his campaign. Those are facts. I was there when he said that, right? And how they took it out of context. So I would agree with you, Kenny. What's being shoved down our throat is being shoved down our throat. What we all three can agree on is it's wrong to murder kids and babies.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yes.
Because the first question I asked you outside was, where do you stand? I kind of knew where you stood, but I wasn't sure.
Right.
And then when you said that, I was like intrigued of, oh, wow. Because you didn't come here to do the podcast. No. You came here, we're going to talk a little business, do some things. And I'm like, hey, we got you maybe to do the podcast. But when I asked you that question, I go, oh, we got to get you on the show.
Yeah.
We got to get you on the show. But the second question I asked you was what?
Well, the fact that children are dying and is that something you support? And I said, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay, so let's hear your perspective because let's hear how your feeling is and why you stand behind what you said earlier.
So I think, look, to begin with, let's start with you agree, right? Whether that's any child, no matter whose it is, African American, German, French, Spanish, I don't care whose child it is. If a child is hurt, that's bad, right?
1,000% bad.
100%.
Okay, so
Right.
all I say is you do not just condemn one side for doing it, you condemn everyone for doing that.
Correct.
And you just got to have the guts to do that. And I think, unfortunately, we do not see that happen in the U.S., where people don't want to say that about Israel. And part of that is because there's this, like you said, Jason, this philosophy that's been put in is this, that President Trump said, I want to be the president for life, right? And if I say that to Kenny 500 times over 5 days, day 7, he's going to start fearing President Trump for the country. He may not want him to be the president because he may fear that this guy may not leave once we give him the power.
Right.
Right? So from that belief, when Kenny's going to speak, what is he going to say? He's going to say, no Trump. The reason why he's going to do that is because I've instilled a belief in him based upon, in his eyes, factual evidence that Trump was saying this. So he heard Trump saying this, and now he's believed this, and now based upon that opinion, he's arguing, and he's got that fear. And that's the problem. What happens in the media, they pick a small piece of truth, 5% of it, 2% of truth, and then present it as the 98% of the truth. And my point is this. There's 2-3 different aspects to this. So let's talk about the existing situation in Palestine, in Israel. Number one, you need to take out the religious aspect to it and the region's aspect to it. And just take a look at it from a standpoint of two people fighting. And I gave you this example. If your children are fighting, two boys fighting, your sons, both of them are fighting with one another, and one's getting hit again and again and again, just because he's weak maybe, right? Or he's not strong enough, but he's getting hit. What's the child that's getting hit going to do? Is he going to think, this is my brother, I don't want to hit back? Is he going to think, my dad's watching, I don't want to hit back?
No, he's going to hit back.
He's going to hit back.
Right.
Right? And I think a lot of times when that happens, maybe that punch back that he's giving is when all the cameras are there and everyone's watching and the parents are there. So you may not have seen the elder child hitting the younger child. Maybe you were not at home.
I would say it goes the other way though too, right? So what you're
Correct.
fed on one media, right? On Al
Correct.
Jazeera, you're fed that Israel is punching Palestine all the time.
No,
That's what you're fed.
So what
and we're fed the other way.
Right. So what I'm saying is, it's the same thing. Like, are you convinced that in the elections that happened in this past 4 years, what's happened in the U.S. was against democratic values? Are you convinced or not?
Yes.
You are. Why?
Because I feel like the election was tainted with. It was fucked with a little bit. Yeah. I know for a fact because. And look, I don't know what the percentage is, but I know that when I lived in Michigan, I purposely registered someone dead, and it allowed me to vote. And I had to share that with the RNC chair. That's a fact. I shared that with Ronna McDaniel down there in Michigan when all this was going on, when everyone was shocked that this happened. It was like, how are we able to vote? Because everyone was worried about these online ballots and the mail-in ballots, and that's what happened. So, yes, I'm concerned about that.
So here's my question. When you speak with a Democrat who says, Jason, this is not true what you're saying, can you believe what he's saying? Or do you not get surprised that how come he cannot see this? Come to the present
But it
circumstance.
goes both ways, though, Hader.
It does, but when you've got the evidences, there's certain times, there's some, United Nations can't be lying, I can be lying, right? United Nations can't be lying.
What is United Nations saying that's lying?
Well, if you look at the UN and if you look at their resolutions and if you look at what the resolutions they've passed again and again and again, it has been the same thing. Israel is aggressor, is oppressing, is aggressor, is oppressing. All these things add up. But the problem is this. Even today, all I'm saying is, even today, right now, when we say that children dying on the side of Palestine is wrong and the side of Israel is wrong, there are a lot of people who stand up and say, well, no, because these attacks took place in Israel, now Israel has a right to come back and hit children.
No, they don't. And we don't even know if that's facts either, though.
Well, correct. Well, okay, hold on. So how do you know there's facts that Israel had children killed? What's the fact?
They've showed it on the media.
Okay, so then,
Hamas took responsibility for it. They're saying that's exactly what we did.
but no, they're not. They're saying we went and we attacked and we didn't kill children. The media says they killed children, right? So your source is what?
Well, they showed the pictures, the media.
And there are pictures of the children in Palestine getting killed. So if the source is the media and we can agree that that's the source we're all going by, then based off of that, we're seeing children being killed on both sides. And if that's the case, if me, you, and Kenny are not a party of it, number one, we're going to have to say both are wrong.
Yes.
But here's
Correct.
the truth. I've been in the U.S. for the past 3 weeks. You're not going to find a lot of people in the U.S. willing to say that Israel is wrong. You know why? It's the same thing. Because of that belief, just like how a Democrat is not going to agree that the election was rigged. No matter what you tell him, he's just not going to agree. And that's my point. You divide people up, and most of the times, the ones who get oppressed, the example of Israel is this. And from my understanding, a lot of the rabbis, a lot of the Jews, themselves have protested over the past 10 years, 15 years, against the oppression that Israel's been doing. And if you go deeper into that.
But, dude, that's not a lot of rabbis. I was
Okay.
doing some research when you said that. It's a very small number. And there are also Palestinians
Correct.
that are arguing, saying Hamas is wrong. We're not part of this group. We don't want to attack the Israelites. We don't want to go over there and do that. That's what they're saying.
So let's-
you could say that on both sides.
Let's talk about Hamas real quick. Okay. Hamas came into existence 15 years ago. They did not exist before that. You know who existed? The Palestinian liberating force. That's now a political party. So all the governments in the world convinced them, leave the arms, become political. Well, they did. What happened since then? They've lost all their rights. They have no rights. Would you want to live a life with... let's forget Palestine for an example. Let's talk about Pakistan. Let's talk about the U.S. If Trump is not allowed to be on the ballot, is that wrong or right?
I think it's wrong.
Okay. Why is that? Because we have a free right as people to choose who we want to lead us. But if the courts or the system is going to prevent us from doing that, what do you think the reaction is going to be? If not today, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You cannot take people's rights away. And I'm saying with the use of media, with the use of government, and with the use of a lot of other these machineries that they have, the rights of people have been taken away. You don't have freedom of speech. Forget me. Trump won't have freedom of speech. He can't speak against the court anymore. Right? What does that mean? So if Trump does not have freedom of speech, how am I supposed to have freedom of speech? If the U.S. you can't have freedom of speech, how am I supposed to have it in Pakistan?
I understand, but who's getting their rights taken away? The Palestinians from who? Israel? That's what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying as far as that particular context is concerned, yes. Over there, the powerful is taking it from the weak.
Kenny, where do you stand so far on what he says?
Well, I'm just absorbing it because I think what we're establishing is where we are getting our information, right? That's kind of where Hader's going with establishing why we even think the way that we think. And it's based upon what information channels or viewpoints we actually decide to listen to. And so it's interesting to hear that from Hader's standpoint, because I've always felt that way too. I'd rather actually watch the opposing news source versus the one that maybe I feel like I stand on, to hear what the other side is thinking, versus just being force-fed what I already enforced, what I already believe. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Right. So I don't get your news channel or whatever it is. But one of the things I did want to ask, Hader, is like, so you kind of opened it up and you were talking about, well, take this out of it, take that out of it, and I understand where your thought process is. But how much of this is religious based? Do you believe in, like, in your opinion? Because I know that, like, for thousands of years, 2,000 plus years, this has been a war over holy territory, holy lands. Right? How much of that do you believe goes back to that? And secondarily, do you think that is a mask for something else that is a bigger picture that maybe we're missing?
Well, look, let's talk about the religion first.
Yeah.
Right? Here we are. I mean, we're talking about Christians, Jews, and Muslims. Abrahamic religion. They all believe in one God. Okay? If it is just a religious war, then why do you have examples of wars going on between Muslims and Muslims? Why do you have examples of war going on between Russia and Ukraine? They're not Muslims.
Right.
Right? So I think sometimes we forget there's a thing called power. And that exists. That exists between families, that exists between companies, in countries, in tribes, in political parties, everywhere. So it's a power thing, right? And the strong person is always oppressing the weak person. And what you have to do is, in order to judge whether who's on the right and who's on the wrong, is first you need to understand who's powerful and who's weak. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Between Israel and Palestine, who do you think is powerful?
Well, the way that it depends on what you're talking about.
Pure power.
You're talking about
financially, economically, military.
Yeah,
That's
Israel.
power.
Israel.
Okay. How much powerful than the Palestinians?
I wouldn't know.
Israel is probably in the top 5-10 countries in the world, right? Palestine is not even in the 200. Where does Palestine get its water from? Drinking water. Israel. Power. Israel. We're saying that the powerful Israel has been attacked by Palestine over the past whatever amount of years, and yet we see Palestine has been losing land, has been losing rights, and has lost every sense of identity to themselves. I, for one, whether if Palestinian would be Jews or would be Muslims, for me, I'd first look at the oppressed, because that's what our religion tells us to do. You want to look at the oppressed. The powerful, when someone gains power, there comes responsibility and there comes accountability to them. And
Right.
that's the eyes you want to look at them with. The reason why I criticize President, Joe Biden today is, versus when before he was not the president, is because now he is, right? So when you are the president, you've got to show that leadership to the people. You can't just criticize Trump for it. He's no longer the president. You are the president. If Trump is not able to be on the ballot, it is your leadership. You were the president when that happened. It didn't happen if you say Trump was anti-democratic, if you say he wanted to be the president forever, then how come Joe was on the ballot?
Right.
Right? But now let's flip the coin. What if when Joe is the president and Trump is not on the ballot? Who would you blame? I'll tell you who I would blame. We would take a look at who's in control, who's the powerful today.
Right.
And if that's Joe Biden, we'll have the guts to say that Joe Biden is the one who is in control.
Right.
And under his watch, this is what's happening. So that's how we connect the dots. And based off of that, Israel is in control, is in power, is strong. And just purely on that, I think you look at it and look at some of the things that have happened. And for all the people in America, I think you got to take a look at not my side, your side, or any Israel or Palestinian side. Take a look at the UN. Go onto the website. Pull it up. Take a look at what the UN has said for the past 10, 15 years. And if that doesn't add up, then take a look at the Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch. There's got to be someone that you can believe which is non-Palestinian, non-Israel. Right?
Right.
That's
So
what I
you're
say.
saying the UN and all those places are saying that Israel's the aggressor and taking, hurting and pushing Palestine to taking away their rights.
Correct. 100%. Without an inch and iota of a doubt, I welcome anyone to pull it up and take a look. And I will say this to you.
We'll pull it up while we're talking.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
As far as Hamas is concerned, you cannot pull, if there's 100 people working in this office, you cannot pull 2 people from this office with a certain behavior and generalize the remaining 98. If someone in the Trump rallies did something that was out of the line, that does not mean that that's every Trump supporter.
Right.
But that's what they do. Isn't that what they do? They would look at a Trump rally, they would pull up 2 people from the whole rally who would say something way out of the line, and they're going to taint you and paint you across the board that that's who you are. That's the entire Trump support. Oh, the Trump supporters, they don't listen. You can't argue with them. They've lost their... Isn't that what you hear, Kenny?
Well, yeah, you get that from either side. I think most folks, I don't want to generalize too much, but I think most folks are closer together than what they might want to admit. And we do have extremes inside of our culture in America, extreme right or extreme left, right? And that is what gets sensationalized. And then that is now a portrait of what the entire Democrat or Republic association is supposed to look like. But I don't think most of those look like anything like that at all. Most Americans probably don't look anything like that at all. But it has made us divided. We are a divided nation right now because of that distinction. Are you here or are you there?
Correct.
Yeah. So,
and I think sometimes what we do is just because you've picked a certain side, even though that side in one aspect is wrong, you're going to continue defending it, which I think is the wrong thing to do.
Right.
Right? What you want to do is always take a look at the right and the wrong, no matter whose side it is. And the divisions have gone on, and people have divided. And I just wish and hope and pray that all children are safe, whether that's in the U.S., in Israel, or in any other part of the world. And all oppressors are defeated, whether it's in Pakistan, the U.S., or anywhere in the world. Oppression is what is not good for humans. You cannot have oppressive environment in the house, in a company, or in a country. So oppression, we all should be against it. And I think I, for one, am very clear on these facts. And that if you present your facts like this to anyone, they'll be willing to listen. And I think we as sometimes don't do a good job in being able to present these facts in the right way.
So I've seen things online on both.
Okay.
I've seen things where the UN is saying that they've broken 28 different laws and they're aggressor on land.
Okay.
And a lot of that is Middle Eastern documentation online. Mm-hmm. And then I've seen Western documentation online saying that Palestinians, Hamas, and other terrorist acts have attacked Israel while they fought back and took land and created a bigger buffer. So which is true?
So, look, I can just tell you from common
Here's what I can tell you, though. Let me ask you this. Is there a time that we have documented where Israel went in there in the middle of the night and attacked something like a concert, not military, not a military place, went in and killed over 1,000 innocent people that had nothing to do with the conflict, randomly out of the blue? Okay. Is that anywhere?
I want to ask you a question.
Hold on, just answer that for me first.
I want to answer that question.
Answer that for me first, dude. Don't look like
yes.
Okay.
And I want to ask you,
when?
If the answer of this is yes, what would you think of Israel? Well, hold on, let me correct it. If the answer to this is not once, multiple times, 100 of times, and it way more magnitude. I just want to know
more magnitude than 1,000 people.
Yes, what would be
in one time?
What would be your response?
But dude,
I just want you to answer this.
I would like proof, but my understanding is that I've never seen Israel do that except defending themselves.
I'm saying if that has happened, what would your response be? Because a lot of people in this world.
My response would be that would be wrong.
Okay, so here's the problem. The entire world, the only reason why
You're saying it's people are scared to say Israel's wrong. We had this conversation.
Yes, a lot. No, I'm saying a lot of people, what people don't understand in the world, that how can an American who lives lives with values,
right,
suddenly when it comes to Israel does not want to say it?
Well, dude, if those were the facts, I'd say Israel's wrong.
So
but I don't know if those are the facts.
Okay. So if the only, hold on, just one more point here. If the only thing that has to be proven to you that this is a fact is what has to be done, then let's take a look at what you agree is a fact for the concert. You took a you looked at pictures, you looked at news channels, you looked at
Hamas took responsibility.
Correct.
Dude. You see Israel taking. When does Israel act like terrorists? There's a difference of going to war and being a terrorist.
Hold on, I'm going to put all three things here. Hamas took responsibility. So you're saying if there's evidence given to you where Israel took responsibility, media channels reported it, and neutral, let's just say, agencies reported it, then you would agree? I will give you not one, Jason, more than 200, 300, 400 of them if you want. And the reason why
so you think randomly Israel just bombs
not
Palestine?
Randomly, how is it that you suddenly own 98% of land that I was living in?
Well, first of all, it's not your. Let's clear this up. It's not your land. It's not my land. This ain't a Tater problem and a Jason problem.
Right? Like
you're pretending you're Palestine and I'm Israel. I get it.
No, let's not.
That's what you're saying.
Right?
That's what you're saying.
Correct. So I'm saying because you asked.
Right. What I'm saying is they keep like. You have individuals. We go back. We talked a little bit about Mormons. You were asking, hey. Well, we'll bring Mormons out.
No,
you were asking, hold on. We were talking about about religion. We were talking about Mormons out in Utah, and you said they couldn't drink.
Correct.
So there's another version of the Mormons that's extreme.
Okay.
Has like 8 wives, and that's like fucking normal. Do you have different extremities in your religion where some is okay? So would it be fair to say that some of these Palestinians over there, right, Muslim, Jewish, I don't give a fuck what the religion is. That's not what I'm talking about. That live there. Some of them are extremists and angry based on history or thought of history or what they see, that they go and do stupid shit and attack things. Would you agree on that? Because that's what just happened.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you're the aggressor, as you say, or you're the company, the large company with a military, with like an FBI or some kind of, agency to manage information and intel, like all of these things, it's less likely, because you're not angry, you have the land, you have nothing to lose. It's less likely that you're going to randomly go over there and create more conflict for no reason. And to be responsible as an agency in a country, you're under the microscope. And it's not documented that that's what they did. It's documented when they're bombed. When somebody comes in their little Jeep or bike and has a fucking car bomb on their shit and kills people, they go to a little battle and they take more land, they take more land, they take more land.
I wish it would be that. I wish it would be like that, what you just said. But the sad part isn't that. The sad part is, even though what I'm saying to you is what it is, as a person of a belief of the other side, I think it's going to be hard for you to look up that.
Kenny, have you ever seen that?
It's easy. I mean, 97% of the world is.
Does it make sense? Like, we're just going to go bomb Mexico? Because I'm going to use this as American Mexico similar.
Let me make a correlation that you and I can definitely understand. Because Americans are guilty of doing this exact same thing.
To the American Indians.
1,000%.
But this ain't the exact same thing. The American Indians weren't attacking us. Attacking us.
That's what you've been told in U.S. history class. All right, I want you to
no, they weren't attacking us.
I want you to rewind what your whole thought process. So, the white man comes across the ocean on the boats, and the next thing you know, there's a whole new white nation that's sweeping across, and we're going to war
with Indians
who have always lived here. And we made a treaty with them, right? There's treaties made between Israel and Pakistan, Palestine, right? Yeah, right. So there's a treaty made.
Yeah.
And every time that the white man said, you broke your treaty, what did we do? We sent them to another little reservation, and those reservations got smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think that's what he's
But Kenny, one point here I think is very important for us to understand. You can't say that makes the white man wrong, or a Christian wrong, or a Jew wrong. What it is it was the powerful at the time.
Power. Yeah.
See, if I gain power...
Hold on, though. Hold your fucking horses, okay? Since we're talking about back then, they had horses. Literally, okay? Indians weren't coming fucking, at least to our knowledge, bombing or attacking them for them to go take more land. Or, I'm sorry, if they were doing that, that would be why. Would that not be like, do you think they were randomly just saying, let's go take more land? Or do you think they were attacked? Because in this case, it's documented that they're attacked. And we're not talking about 1700 Israel.
Okay.
Hold on. From 1946 or 47, when the resolution was signed in 1947.
Okay. Are you able to, hold on. The 1946 resolution. You know what the whole fight right now is between Palestine and Israel? All Palestine is saying is, please stick to the 1946 resolution. Their entire fight is to have you stick to that. You're not sticking to it. You're not sticking to it. You're not even sticking to the 1970s, 1980s,
because over
1990s.
The years in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s,
I've been hitting
you would get some random fucking guy come over and bomb them, and they're going, hold on, we'll take this and push you back and get a buffer.
So
we'll put a buffer.
So
right, wrong, or indifferent. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
No,
I don't know if that happened with the American Indians or not. But if that did, that makes more sense because you're trying to separate a bigger buffer, protect people.
The correlation is similar. At least we can relate to it. Like I can't relate. I don't live there.
You are relating,
right?
And that's exactly what it is. But the point is,
but if they came in and killed,
I have no army. Okay, so let's think of it. What Jason is saying. So there's Palestine, who doesn't have an army, who's got no water, no power, and they were supposed to defend their land, which they've not been able to. But yet they were attacking. They've not been able to freaking defend.